So there has been some discussion after the time Season 5 for Street Fighter 5 has been announced. And, you know, they've been talking about the characters that they want in there, the characters they think they're going to make in there, or likely are going to make it in there, and all the stuff in between. So, I thought I'd, you know, throw in my 2 cents in there. So, today in this video, I'll mention the predictions that I made before, and, of course, the characters that I would like to, you know, make it into this final season. And other characters that, you know, that are kind of worth mentioning and that they could possibly make it in there out of nowhere, right? There's always that possibility. It could be some surprises around the corner for the character selection for things. And this is going to be the last one, so maybe they'll, you know, try to blow people away as much as they can. I don't know, with the 5 characters. But let's just get into it. Previously, I predicted that these 5 characters were most likely gonna make it in there just because of the things that we've already seen, these like pointers that already kind of provided as to being clues or just obvious sort of traits, I guess you can say, that they're likely gonna make it into the game. And there's been all these rumors and stuff like that, which adds more fuel to that fire. But who knows? It could be just smoke and mirrors and gaslighting. I don't know. So. Previously, I said that Sodom, Sea Viper, Makoto, Oro, and the Capre are more likely to make it in there. You know, Makoto, yes, even though there's no like model or anything of the sort with her, I think she has been some of the most requested characters throughout time of Street Fighter 5, and people really want her in there. People love her, like tomboyish sort of country hick persona or character that she gives off, and she's really cool with karate and stuff. She does the grab resets, blah blah blah, you name it, right? Especially during her time from Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 4, you know, she is cool in my book. So people would definitely want her in theirs. All the other characters though, they've been in this story, they've been modeled, or at least Sodom anyway has been modeled. The Capra has definitely been modeled. And so they're likely more likely going to make it in there. And characters like Sea Viper and Oro, they've been in the story I think a couple of times now for some of the characters. So I think, yeah, they're more from those clues anyway. They're likely going to make it in there. From that, you know, if we're going to go off of that sort of logic. But now it's time to reveal the characters that I want to make it in there for my own personal sort of pick. Starting off with things, and they're not in particular order, they're just kind of just random and stuff, so there's not a really like a top 5 or anything like that. It's just characters that I want in there. So alright, so the 5 characters I want, starting off is Fei Long. Fei Long is, you know, the longtime favorite. He's a classic within Street Fighter 2. He is a, you know, big time footsie character, and he is the guy who started the whole Rekka sort of control scheme, which basically allows you to go into a special move to another special move to another special move. Not like, you know, of course, you know, different special moves, but you can consecutively do more moves after that, you know, or whatever. It's like you can chain a series of special moves, and that's kind of the point of Rekkas, right? To kind of mix it up a bit against your opponent in case they're like blocking or something like that. I think that's what I'm assuming anyway. But we don't really have Rekka characters in there unless you count Karin when she has her V trigger on. Laura is sort of like that, but input wise, not really. Not at least not your traditional Rekka character anyway. You know, because it's all about the fireball motions and stuff like that. Just, you know, if I'm going to be really traditional about it, yeah, I mean, the true Rekka character is, you know, Fei Long. He's the one who started it all, and Karin from the Alpha series, I believe, and so on and so forth. But even with that, though, besides that, he's the Bruce Lee sort of character. So I'm always kind of biased towards those characters. I love seeing those characters in fighting games with the wata and stuff. So I love to see him make it back in there. I like to see where they kind of take him into whatever direction with the redesign. See where it goes with his story. He kind of has a cameo in the background in one of the stages, which is just a random banner, I believe, on the bus or something. I forget which stage it was. It's one of the early stages from vanilla Street Fighter 5. So he's not completely out of the picture, sort of say, no pun intended, but because he's a movie star and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he's literally Bruce Lee in Street Fighter in general. So love to see him in there. So anyway, next up on the 5 characters that I want is Dudley. Dudley is absolutely cool. He's just one of the classiest characters, if not the classiest. He's the gentleman sort of trope. He has some of the most utmost sort of code of honor sort of thing, and when he's fighting, and he's also a boxer, so it's like just like some of the toppings on on that Sunday, and he's just cool. He's just he's a black English dude, I believe, and he throws the rose and everything in his taunt, and it has actual like use back in Street Fighter 3 and even 4, I believe, and this is all just from memory anyway. But he's just cool. I mean, I would love to see him make his return. We don't really have that many boxing characters if you count Ed, of course, and then there's Balrog, of course, and so I guess we only have 2 boxing characters just from the top of my head anyway. So just Ed and Balrog. So a third one would be nice, like an actual boxing character per se, because Ed just does throw out the kicks. So he's kind of a pseudo boxer. He learned his fighting style from Balrog, so he's kind of just halfway there. He would be a good middle point at that point, and then but Dudley would be kind of the opposite end, because he's not a charged character. He's a fireball motion sort of character. So that'd be kind of cool, in my opinion. And yeah, just character wise, he's very classy, and he always loves to keep it classy. He always drinks the tea and all that stuff, with the boxing glove. So that he's got the skills. He's definitely got the skills and everything. And again, I would love to see him. And maybe they'll probably keep his design. Maybe they'll modify it just a little bit. But even so, they'll always have his the classic costume for like everyone else anyway. So wouldn't matter too much. But it would be interesting to see what kind of redesign he would receive. Maybe they'll stick with his the Matador costume, the bullfighter costume that he has. Maybe there are a couple other ones as well. I don't know, man. Maybe they'll take him to a completely different direction. Who knows? Yeah, that's kind of like the surprises that Street Fighter 5 always brings. Like making Cody the mayor of the city or whatever, that sort of thing. So the third character, I hate to do this again, but Makoto. This is an actual character that I really want from the prediction sort of side of things. I love seeing her. I love seeing her fight. I love seeing people use her and stuff. I personally don't know how to use her, so watching other people use Makoto and her utmost potential is some of the most interesting things to watch. It's very fascinating how people do resets with her and stuff. But again, her character is just fun all around. She's from the country, like deep in the country, tomboy, and very proficient with karate, and she knows how to whoop ass, for a girl of a pretty small stature within Street Fighter standards. And yeah, just an all-around fun character just to watch and kind of learn about her backstory and all that stuff. And again, I definitely would like to see her in Street Fighter 5. Hopefully she does, but we'll see. Next will be an interesting sort of pick, and I have like an interesting idea for this one, and that's Yun and Yang. And yes, I said Yun and Yang in one thing because I would love to see some sort of like tag mechanic in Street Fighter 5, like make these two like really unique amongst the cast. So basically you can pick Yun, he's like the central character, right? And then the V skill or whatever would allow you to switch between Yun and Yang, kind of like how you can switch between old Zeku and young Zeku. I think that'd be a pretty cool idea. Otherwise, his other V skill could be something else. I'm not really too sure, but maybe it will still be like the tag mechanic, but with like a different thing going on. I don't know. Basically, yeah. So the V skill around it in general will be switching between these two and stuff, and the V triggers could be anything. It could be the Denjin, or not a Denjin. Oh man, the UA gene or something like that. It's the one with the after image stuff going on. That's their V triggers, right? And then V trigger number 2 could be something else. I'm not too sure. They could to figure that out, I guess. But Yin and Yang, from the character design standpoint, I love the designs. I love like the big poofy pants and their skating shoes and all that stuff. I love that sort of character aesthetic. And then on top, they're they don't really have much going on top, but on the bottom, that's where all the sort of design is kind of thrown in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this contrast, and it creates this unique shape, and I kind of like that. And Yoon has a base, the sort of like a cap on, and Yang has the Troya sort of hair going on, which is why also people like to pin Yoon with Duo Maxwell from Gundam Wing, and also Choro as well, and with Yang. And I think it's really funny of the coincidences that these two have, and they're kind of cool. I like seeing these two together. Yang is the calmer sort of brother of the two, and then Yoon is, even though he is older, he acts the more spunky, sort of immature, hot-headed side of the duo anyway. So so it would be kind of cool to see these two make it in there with that mechanic going around them. And I think it'd be pretty interesting, in my opinion. I'm sure there's got to be some sort of tinkering in order to make it balanced, but something like that would be really cool. There could be one more pair that could do that too. I think it could be the dolls from the Alpha series. I forget their names. Like, I think one of them was like Junie or something like that. You guys can look that up for me, I guess. But you know what I'm talking about. I'll throw in a picture in there in post, but. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to the tag mechanic. But preferably though, Yin and Yang, that's the way to go for me anyway. So I would love to see those two make it in there. And not to mention their critical art has got to be freaking awesome, right? These two attacking together, they could do something really cool. They could literally take the one from CVS 2 and kind of like modify it up a little bit, but the ending of that critical arc would be the two like crossing together with their kicks and whooping ass on the opponent. So that'd be pretty sick if you ask me. So that's Yin and Yang for the 4th pick. Now my number 5 pick for my personal list, lastly, is Dan. We gotta see Dan in there. He's like, yes, he is widely considered the joke character, he could be viable. I mean, I'm okay with that. Make him balanced, make him like kind of a nice middle ground, but we kind of already, I guess, are seeing that with Kage. Kage kind of has the Dan thing going on with the short fireball. Yes, he has the red fireball, which that's as far as this projectile goes, but a true Dan, the true Dan is gonna come back. I would love to see him get back in there for Street Fighter 5, kind of like the last hurrah sort of thing. Literally, his V trigger or his V skills could be the taunt, and it can buff him or something like that for one of his V skills anyway. Because I always forget that there's 2 V skills and 2 V triggers. So, but definitely one of them is taunting. It should be his taunting, and his V trigger could be anything. I don't know. The ideas and possibilities are, I don't know, through the roof for when it comes to Dan, I guess. But as a character, though, he is funny. I like always seeing him in Street Fighter games, and just him being a comic relief overall. He always kind of like sets that mood for me nicely, and especially from Street Fighter 4 and CVS 2, like that. Those times were really fun when it comes to Dan. And he's definitely one of the most memorable characters, and I just want to see him, in the Street Fighter 5 glory, the makeover and stuff, the graphics and stuff like that. And I just want to hear Dan talk too. Like, his voice is, kind of sticks to me as well. I hope they get the voice actor from CBS 2, but who knows? It could be the one from Street Fighter 4. Probably that's mostly likely what's gonna happen. And the fact that Sakura and Blanca are in there, so Dan would complete the trio. Like that was a trio from 4, and they kind of travel together in the story. And I don't know, I would love to see a reunion of the 3, and I don't know, it'd be cool in my book. So just for the sake of lore, I don't know. So that's pretty much my personal picks in there. But there are a couple of characters I want to mention that could possibly make it in there. And also I kind of like to see them in there as well. If the 5 characters I just mentioned don't make it in there somehow, these ones would be fine in my book as well. So one is Hugo. We definitely would like to. I would like to see another big character make it in there. Hopefully, be a little comparable to Abigail. He's like the biggest character in the game. So kind of like, have like another character that's kind of big, maybe like slightly smaller than Abigail. I mean, especially his shoulders are kind of small for Hugo anyway. But I don't know. He's like a really cool grappler for me. And I know there's already a lot of grapplers in the game, but or wrestlers, but I don't know. Something about Hugo like really shines to me for some reason. And he's Andre the Giant. That's literally his sort of base anyway. And then Alex is Hulk Hogan. That's how it happened, right? And so seeing these two in the game would be really awesome. Maybe Hugo will likely be the better character when it comes to tier lists anyway, compared to Alex. But but for the sake of lore, I'd love to see Hugo in there, and then Poison's in there as well. So Hugo will be really nice to see. That's just my opinion. So next character, this character has made it in there in the story. There's a model for him, so he definitely has a chance in there of sorts. And it's Abel. Abel is the MMA sort of character from Street Fighter 4. He was one of the original characters along with C. Viper and El Fuerte and Rufus. So Abel was in the story for Street Fighter 5, and I don't think he did much other than him being controlled and stuff like that. He was an undercover soldier within Shadowloo. He's kind of like the mole and stuff, but I guess he got, his cover got blown, so I think his mind was under control of sorts, right? And so his model is there. He already has a chance of sorts. He already has the foot and the door. And so a redesign is definitely just all he needs, right? And that's pretty much it. So there's not really much else to say. His character is kind of like really vanilla, other than him being kind of like a character with amnesia, that sort of thing. But otherwise, he doesn't really bring too much to the table when it comes to personality-wise. He doesn't really have a wide sort of palette. But other than that, his gameplay is kind of neat. He's another regular character, so him being in there will be interesting gameplay-wise. But personality, that's a mixed bag, I guess, depending on where you come from. So next one up is DJ. DJ is another classic character. It would be nice to see him in there, but he's one of the less favorites of mine personally. Anyway, not to say that he's someone I hate or dislike or anything like that, but in comparison to other characters, he's kind of like on the back end. But DJ, he definitely has a lot of personality, and he's got that permanent smile. He always loves to dance, and he's the charge character, sure, and I don't know, he'll bring much to the table. But if they can kind of change him up, I mean, like kind of what they did with Vega, I mean, it's possible. Seeing him back in there would be great because he's a classic character, and so DJ would be another pick of mine. Next one up is Goken. We definitely don't have enough old characters, right? Like the old man that kicks ass sort of demographic within the character roster. Other than Zeku, and I guess Dalsum is one of them now. But just seeing more old men would be kind of nice. Kind of always fun to play around with that trope within martial arts or the fighting game sort of genre. You gotta always have them old characters in there. So Goken would be really cool. I know he's another Shoto and all, but he's pretty unique amongst them, and he can throw fireballs from upwards and not only across like the usual, but he can charge it. He can he has a pretty different looking Tatsumaki. he's one of the more unique Shotos, and it'd be nice to see him compete against Akuma. But I think apparently in the lore, I think he's dead or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. Please, someone correct me in the comment section with what's happening with Goken. Is he dead? I don't know. But for the sake of things, I hope he makes it in there. Next one up is Guy. Guy and Cody, from Final Fight. That's the pair. That is the pair, and Cody's already in the game, so seeing Guy would be really nice, just for that. But Zeku already kind of fills in that role, I guess. But even so, like, his moveset is kind of different from what Guy is supposed to be. He's got a command dash or run of sorts, and he can mix it up with his grabs and stuff. But we already have someone in there that was supposed to take Guy's place, which is Zeku, and I believe Zeku was the one who taught Guy anyway. He's the master, and so I don't know. It's kind of up in the air for Guy, but he's unique to me because he's a ninja that wears the sort of the high tops, the shoes that don't really set the standards for ninjas anyway. That's why he kind of sticks out to me. He's a ninja that wears like Converse sort of shoes or whatever. Wears streetwear to show him that he's from the streets, but still he's like very, he follows Bushido and speaks with very like an old lick of Japanese and stuff like that. So that gets lost in translation, of course, but that's Guy for you. So that, to me, that's unique, and he's kind of the opposite end when it comes to Cody. So I don't know. To me, that's unique, and he's fun in my book, and it'd be cool to see him in there somehow. But anyways, next one up will be Oni. Oni was one of the most fun-looking Shotos to try out in Street Fighter 4. He was crazy. He had a lot going on, and but unfortunately, that's very unlikely going to happen because Akuma is already pretty crazy as is, I guess. So I guess they want to keep him being that demonic sort of Shoto amongst the cast. Oni would kind of undermine that, I guess. So I don't think it's gonna happen just for the sake of lore, because Akuma already is kind of embracing the demon side of things with the hair and all that stuff. But it would be kind of funny though, just to see him make it in there. But I know it's unlikely. A character that could make it in there, more likely than Oni anyway, is Elena. Elena is a favorite amongst a handful, and although it did leave a sour taste from Street Fighter 4 amongst the competitors and just people in general, because one of her ultras involved with healing, so that left a scar amongst a lot of players, and she was absolutely part of the meta, and seeing her though, like gameplay wise, of course, leaving out the healing part would be kind of unique. She has a lot of highs and lows, so being the capoeira fighter that she is. And yeah, I mean, I think she's still the only one with capoeira, so having that representation would be cool in Street Fighter 5. That would be a fun pick, in my opinion. But of course, they gotta leave out the healing mechanic just for the sake of things. But if they do, I'm gonna just laugh my ass off, because I don't know, it's just kind of playing around with the PTSD with the players. But it could be one of her V triggers. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, who knows what they could do with her with the V skills and the V mechanics for Elena. So that's on them. I can't think of anything right now in my head other than healing, which would piss a lot of people off. Understandably so. All right, so last one of the sort of honorable mentions for characters. It's Shawn, the character who bears the same name as myself. So Shawn obviously was a favorite amongst the Street Fighter 3 sort of cast. Unfortunately, he did get super nerfed in Third Strike. He's one of the weaker characters, if not the weakest character within Third Strike, but he was still a favorite. And you know, people who know what they're doing, they can still win with him within online anyway. I don't know about tournaments, but he's very young within Street Fighter 5. He's still inexperienced. You know, he is Laura's little brother, and she kind of bullied around with him in the story mode. So yeah, but yeah, you know, going off the logic of having a model and stuff like that, he does have probably a chance, but it's gonna be unlikely, even with that, in my opinion, just because of his age, his inexperience with fighting, and so I think it's just too soon for him. I think Street Fighter 6 will be a great time for him to make his return, to see a sort of a makeover with him, and especially him going away from the big caterpillar hair he had in Street Fighter 5. As much as I would love to see him in Street Fighter 5, it's not gonna happen just from the story standpoint of things. I mean, I don't know, make him kind of disobey that rule and make him just the third strike Shawn, and have him use the basketball as part of his V skills. I don't know, but really otherwise though, as much as I would love to see him, I don't think it's gonna happen. So yeah, Shawn is probably gonna be saved for Street Fighter 6. Maybe along with Makoto. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that. Now, there is one last thing I want to mention for the characters of Street Fighter 5, and that's the whole news or rumors regarding to the tarot cards. Kind of apparently spells out what's going to be happening with the characters for Street Fighter 5's Season 5 anyway. Now, I don't really remember the picks that were in there, so I think Rolenta was going to be one of them. So it actually is pretty close to the predictions that I made back in the previous video, with the exception of Rolento and I think like one more character. So the tarot cards apparently are gonna be it's gonna be what sets the Season 5 character roster in there, but I don't completely believe it. I'm just gonna keep that expectation like kind of up in the air, just because surprises are always around the corner when it comes to that, and so they could completely disobey that rule or whatever, and or go away from that, have their own sort of picks and to surprise people, and yeah, so that's just how things can go. But anyways, I think that's all I got for the characters that I want in there, and what characters I think are gonna make it in there likely, and the honorable mentions and the whole tarot card thing, all that stuff. So that's it for this episode of the Hawke Talks. Thank you guys so much. If you have any comments about the characters that you want in there, or you think are gonna likely make it in there, and everything else, leave them down in the comment section below. Love to read them. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from this channel, whether it's about Street Fighter or anything else. Really do appreciate that, and that definitely would be helpful for the channel. So that's it. Yeah, so for the Hawke Talks episode, we're going to Street Fighter 5's Season 5 characters, with my personal list, the characters that are likely going to make it in there, and the honorable mentions, and also the tarot card rumors. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Shawn out.